The idea is to keep the engine at 3000 RPM to burn carbon deposits. I'll explain the details in a moment. It's really important to understand it the right way. Also, this should not work on specific cars. I'll explain the details as well. But just first, I want to show you there is a study showing this. And also, I did try this on my car. Now, obviously, everything like this, unless I take pictures of the valves before and after, is going to be subjective. My feeling, however, that's why I'm just sharing this information, is on my car. After doing this several times, it just feels the engine has more pep, especially in the first gear. If I would accelerate to 4,000-5,000 RPM, I just feel it pulls differently than before. Again, it's up to you to believe it or not, or rather maybe just give it a try yourself. Now, this is a study. I'm going to link it in the comment section. It shows that basically when you keep the RPM, I believe it says under load. Under load usually would mean climbing and incline, right? So not just going on a flat surface. But I didn't have inclines. I tried on flat surface. It did work for me, at least to my subjective feeling. And it says that at some point at 3000, around 3000 RPM, actually I keep my car below that at 2.8 something. The temperature inside the combustion chamber reaches a value which should burn, including the carbon deposits on GDI engines that happened on the front side of the intake valves, where there is no fuel reaching, basically, because of the way injectors work. And this is only for the first generation of GDI cars, which don't have a port injector. Later generation did add a port injector, so you shouldn't be worried about carbon deposit. But if you have just one injector, high pressure injector in each combustion chamber, then there may be carbon deposits. And by the way, carbon deposits, I'm going to link you this this small comment in oil. Bob is the oil guy. I don't know what is the number of this post, is 15. In the comment section you'll find this. When you have carbon deposits inside your engine, basically on the valves, it's not always going to cause a check engine unless it's really a lot. So even if you don't have a check engine, it can really remove the carbon deposits and give you a better acceleration. Not sure about the fuel consumption. So this is, I was filming while driving my car. This is a Hyundai 2015. Again, usually I will keep it slightly below for some reason, 2,800 or so. Now here's the details how to do this. First, it's really important to have a fresh oil or almost fresh oil. Why? Because especially on Hyundai, my understanding is the first generation GDI engines from around 2011 to 2019, the engines do dilute the oil, and I know it happens on other cars like Honda and other engines. So if you are driving it at 3000 RPM with a diluted oil by the engine oil by gasoline, then you know you increase the wear on your engine. And especially, I give you an example on these Hyundais, the high pressure fuel pump that sits on top of the engine, it's run with a cam lobe which is lubricated by oil. And if the oil is diluted and you keep it for a moment at 3000 RPM, well, you are going to wear that lobe and it's going to make noise at some point and need to play. So that's why I'm saying try to do this, especially when you have a fresh oil that has less than 1000 miles on it. The second thing is I did keep the car like this. I did drive it like this for, I would say, 30 seconds to 1 minute. Then I'll give it a pause just to have the engine cool down a little bit, and you may repeat it after 5 minutes or so. And obviously you need to repeat it several times, right? But don't go mad on your engine. Again, these engines may have problems, especially Hyundai. So don't, it's up to you if you want to rev it higher or longer, but keep in mind, you know, there may be a risk of wearing some components more. So this is one thing. The second thing, in my feeling, is that this may not work if the outside temperature is below the freezing point. So summertime is going to be better. Why? Because the intake air is going to be warmer. It doesn't cool down a little bit the combustion chamber. If you try this in very cold weather, it may not reach the combustion chamber that temperature that burns the carbon deposits. And by the way, those articles, I'm not sure it's this one or the other one, they mention that it can burn even thicker deposits of carbon. So it's not just for thin coat of carbon, it can burn even thicker deposits. Obviously, it's going to take more time at 3000 RPM to burn thicker deposits of carbon. And again, it's all around the intake valves, right? So that's really just what we want. So these are my suggestions. Again, give it a try, see how it goes. It's hard for me to tell you how many times I did it before I felt there is an improvement. It's going to depend on your car as well, obviously how much deposits are. My car did not have a check engine, did not have hesitation or something like this, but I could just, my subjective feeling again, I could feel the difference really, really there. Not 2-3% more power, really. It's hard to give a number, maybe 10-20%, 30% more power, especially in the first gear when I accelerate. So it's more torque basically, if you want. Now, going back to the beginning of this video, I said not for German cars. I don't remember exactly when I read that. Not sure if it's in this text or other text, but it seems the German, and not just German, Volvos as well, and maybe other European cars, they use breather PCV boxes. Japanese car use just a small valve. It's much Japanese and Asian use only a small valve to vent the crankcase vapors, which is different in European market. They use big brother boxes. Maybe there is because of emission more severe being in Europe. But like I said, I know German cars, Audi, Volkswagen, maybe BMW, Mercedes, Volvo use this. I don't know about the Italian and French cars. Maybe I just search about your own vehicle. But it seems that these boxes also ventilate, I don't remember exactly the explanation, but they ventilate more oil or so, and the carbon deposits on those cars are not just from unburned gasoline inside the combustion chamber, but also from unburned oil. And it seems that this 3000 RPM is not effective when you have those PCV boxes, because it cannot burn the deposits from the oil that it's hardened in there. That's what I read. I don't know, it's up to you to try it. And again, you don't have to go crazy at 6,000 RPM like Italian job or so for 10 minutes. Don't burn your valves. Remember this, if you have carbons on your valves and you exaggerate this thing, you keep it for too many minutes to higher RPM, then you can burn a valve, right? So because the valve doesn't close properly, this is really important. So that's why go gently at the beginning, just go gently. And if you feel there is a lot of deposits, like you have a check engine, hesitation, misfire, so on, maybe it's not a good idea to try this, because you may burn a valve. So just keep this in mind and give it a try. It's up to you to see if it helps you.